and welcome to my channel. This is my puppy. Well, not puppy. This is my dog, Chewie. I named him after Chewbacca from Star Wars, of course. And she's been sleeping all day. And he's just been chilling in here while I did my video. And he's just been sleepy. I think he wants to go back to sleep. So, I want to apologize for being MIA. There's been a few things that have been going on and just been kind of getting in the way, and I don't want to give you guys poor quality content. I wanted to give you guys the best quality that I could, and with my previous light, just the fuse burning out on me completely, that just put a hold on things as well. I had purchased a crappy quality light, apparently, and I didn't really do my research when I was buying lights at the time. That was a couple years ago, and I only got to use this light maybe 2 or 3 times, which is pretty ridiculous because if you spend, you know, a good amount of money on something, you would expect to get a lot of uses out of it, and that I did not. So I did my research. I see that a lot of YouTubers have used this Diva ring light that I'm using right now, and there's been a lot of good reviews on this light specifically, so I did go ahead and purchase this, and that is what I'm using right now. And I am happy that I have a good light to use and give you guys the best quality videos that I can. So that is one reason why I haven't posted in the past couple weeks. Secondly, I've just been kind of like stressed and excited because it's my birthday on Sunday, the 26th. I turned 21, and I don't feel that much older, you know, to be honest. A lot of people keep asking me, well, do you feel older, this and that, because now I can buy alcohol. No, I went to the store and I felt completely awkward. Being able to purchase alcohol and gamble is not something I feel too excited about, I guess. I'm not a big fan of drinking or gambling or anything of that sort. So I didn't really get too crazy for my birthday last week. I kind of just kept mellow. Also, during those past couple weeks, I was trying to decide if I wanted to go to this makeup school here or not. They're really amazing. I really liked what they do and everything. It's just I don't have money to do makeup and dentistry. It's just a little too much. So if I can at least self-teach myself on makeup and do dentistry, then I can have both things going for me, and it kind of makes sense just to do dentistry school and then teach myself makeup through YouTube and any other sources that I may be learning it from. For me, I like being well-rounded and like be able to do multiple things and just kind of be knowledge and have experience on everything in life, I guess. That's just kind of how I am. But I did chop off half my hair. I want to give out a shout out to my girl Taylor at Escape Salon. If you're here in the area, you should go check her out. She's really amazing. She always does a good job on the hair color. She pretty much nailed it, and I'm loving that it's short. So short hair is kind of necessary with how hot it is here and my laziness when it comes to doing my hair. I like it. Okay, I'm a little obsessed with it. But yes, I will leave her Instagram down below if you want to check her out. She's awesome, and she's very good with pricing. So I don't want to keep this intro too long, but that's just kind of where I've been. If you guys have any questions, any feedback, any comments, or anything, just leave those down below, and I will be sure to reply to you guys as I always do. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to be going in is with my Marc Jacobs Perfecting Coconut Face Primer. I really enjoy this just because it smooths out my pores. It really just diminishes any blemishes that I have, and it hydrates my face at the same time. So I really enjoy the benefits of this primer. Now that my face is all primed up, I'm going to be going in with the usual, which is my Becca Backlight Priming Filter and my MAC NW20. And I'm going to be taking my Morphe E9 foundation brush to apply that down the neck as well, so that everything blends perfectly. Try not to get it to where we're going to be applying the eyeshadow, just because it'll kind of, in my opinion, ruin what we're trying to do. Alright, now that we got that applied everywhere, I'm going to be taking my Morphe E54 and just buffing that into my skin And I like doing this technique just because, one, I have dry skin, so I don't want it cleaning any dry patches that I may have. As well, it gives you kind of a flawless airbrush finish, so that's another reason I like doing this technique. Now that we're done with the foundation, we're going to be moving on to the concealer, and with that I'm going to be using my Too Faced Absolutely Flawless in the shade Vanilla, and I'm just going to be kind of putting a little bit of dots underneath my eyes, and this concealer is pretty thick, so you don't want to apply too much. And then I'm going to be taking my damp beauty blender and blending that out. So once we have that buffed in, then I'm going to be going in with my RCMA No Color Powder and set to my under eyes and any other places I put my concealer with. And this will just help the makeup stay a little longer and not too creased. Now I'm just going to wipe that away pretty quickly. I'm trying to avoid getting anything on my cheeks because I'm going to try out this new bronzer that I got. I wanted to try, and it's the Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel. It's a universal bronzer. I want to see how this kind of works out. I haven't really tested out cream bronzers, so we'll see how this goes. We'll try this together, okay? And I'm going to be taking this Unknown brush, which is kind of like a nice round foundation brush. It smells kind of good too. I like that it's not like, it's like very universal, so you can kind of build it up if you need it darker or anything like that. And since I'm so pale, I don't need to use a whole lot. So that's pretty awesome. So I'm going to be setting the Chanel bronzer with this Hourglass one. It's a little more shimmery and everything for my liking. So I'm just going to lightly dust that on top of the cream. It's always best to set your creams with powders so that they don't move throughout the day. I'm going to do a little bit of blush from the Jaclyn Hill Champagne Face palette. And I'm going to be going in with my MAC 129 to kind of lightly dust Rosé Spritz onto my cheeks. So now that we got that, then I'm going to be taking the Champagne Pop and Prosecco Pop, mixing those together, putting those on my cheekbones, my cupid's bow, my nose, and pretty much my entire face basically. And I'm going to be using the MAC 184 fan brush to apply that. Go all over my whole face. Never get enough highlighter ever. Then I'm going to be going into the eyes, the whole purpose of this tutorial. So this is the look that I created for my birthday, and I'm going to recreate it and show you guys how I did it. So the first thing, as always, I am going to be going with the Too Faced Shadow Insurance Primer and applying that to my eyes. I'm going to be taking my Lorac Pro Mini, and I'm going to be taking the shade Buff Morphe E30 brush and just kind of use that to apply it to my whole lid so that when I use my other shadows, they blend much easier. So the first shade I'm going to be going in with my E17 Morphe brush is the Warm Taupe by Anastasia. And it's just this beautiful, like it is, it's a warm taupey color, and I'm going to be using it in my crease as a transition shade. So I'm just going to buff that in nice and lightly. Don't want to be too harsh with this. Now this eye I have a little more trouble with just because this bone right here is slightly broken, or slightly fractured I should say, from something I did in 4th grade. So I have a little more trouble doing this eye in particular. And then I'm just going to take my E27 blending brush and blend that out. And then I'm going to be going in with Red Earth by Anastasia. And it's just slightly more darker and more darker brown, more redder. I'm going to take the E36, and this one's a little more precise than the E18. And I'm just going to go into my crease with it. Drag that all the way over. And put it on my outer third. And kind of create like a new crease almost. Just because my eyes are kind of hooded, I still want to see that nice red earth color peep out a little bit. And I'm going to go back with my blending brush and blend that out. And this blending brush is the E30 by Morphe, if I didn't see that yet. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my E18 brush, and I'm going to take Intense Gaze. It's this very beautiful, shimmery red-brown, and I love it a lot. So I'm going to take my MAC Fix Plus and spray it onto the shadow to give it a more intense pop. And I'm going to put that on the outer corners of this look. And then I'm going to do the same thing with Gleam. It is this very taupey, creamy, shimmery goodness. I really love this color a lot too. And I'm going to do the same thing, take my MAC Fix Plus, and that's going to go into my inner lid. I'm going to be taking my Marc Jacobs eyeliner and doing my tight line. Got that lined. I am going to take my E36 again, and I'm going to take the shades Red Earth, on both sides. And then I'm going to go back into the L'Oreal Pro palette, and I'm going to take black, just very lightly. And then go and take the Warm Taupe. And yeah. Then I'm going to be going back to the black in this palette, and I'm going to be taking the angled E11 brush and putting that on my tight line. then I'm gonna go ahead and just curl my eyelashes real quick. And then I'm just gonna be taking my Blink Black Lash Primer and mixing it in with my Benefit Roller Lash. And it's up to you whether or not you want to use falsies. I prefer not to most of the time, but in some occasions I do. Like for my birthday, I did wear them, but in most cases when I do my makeup, I prefer not to, just because I have a hard time with false lashes. And I think it's just better to embrace your natural lash, whether they're thick, long, short, stubby, whatever the case may be. And then I'm gonna go in with Gleam real quick and just kind of add that inner corner that I forgot to do real quick. Doing your inner corner, I really think it makes a big difference to your makeup look. It just adds that pop. So the next thing is going to be my eyebrows, because if you've noticed, I really don't have that much eyebrows. I am American Indian. I'm Cherokee actually, so we don't very much grow a lot of hair. Just like you can barely see the hairs on my arms, and no, I do not shave them. And I'm kind of glad I don't have to shave them. As always, I'm going to be taking my Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Soft Brown. And I'm going to be taking my double-ended Too Faced Angle Brush. Now this eyebrow is a little more difficult for me, just because this one has less hair. And once again, this is because of that accident from 4th grade. Then I'm going to set that with a smaller angled brush that is unknown, and I'm going to be using the MAC Soft Brown. No, the MAC Charcoal Brown. I'm going to be using my MAC Charcoal Brown to set my eyebrows. Lastly, we have the lips, but I'm going to go ahead and set to my face. I have been trying out this Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist, and I've tried it once so far, and I like the results. And it smells kind of good. I really like it. It kind of makes your face look a little oily at first, but once it sets in, it's just beautiful and glowy, and I really like it. And that's, I don't really know how to describe the smell, but it smells fresh and good. Lastly, I'm going to be going in with the lips. I'm going to go ahead and mix two colors today. I'm going to be taking the Manny MUA collaboration with Ofra in the color Charmed. I'm going to be taking this and using the Anastasia lip gloss and Undressed and mixing those together to give more kind of creamy in between. So let's go hot on that. Alright, so that is the finished look. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. And if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, because I do post videos every Friday, so I don't want you guys to miss out on any more videos, because I will be posting every Friday from now on, and I'm not going to have any excuses as to why not to post videos unless I'm like out of town or something. But if I'm out of town, I'll at least post like a vlog or something for you guys. So there will be no more excuses as to why I will not have a video out on Fridays. So please be sure to subscribe and check out some of the